We live in a time where, well, almost everything is measured. Steps per day, hours of sleep, productivity, screen time, heart rate, calories, money, growth, performance. Even happiness sometimes comes with a dashboard now. And to be fair, measurement can be useful. I also enjoy a tidy overview. A little list here, a little graph there, and suddenly life gives us the comforting impression that it is under control. But Henri Bergson would probably smile gently and say, be careful, because the moment you only measure life, you may lose exactly the thing that makes life alive. Bergson, a French philosopher from the early 20th century, had one major objection to the modern way of thinking. We often treat reality as if it consists of fixed, separate parts, as if life is a machine, or a clock, or a spreadsheet with nicely aligned columns. But according to Bergson, life is not a thing, it is a flow. His most famous idea is the difference between clock time and live time. Clock time is simple. 1 hour is 60 minutes, 1 minute is 60 seconds. It's very useful for trains, meetings, and dentist appointments. But, that's not really how we experience time. An hour waiting for bad news can feel endless. An evening with old friends can disappear in a blink. 5 minutes of embarrassment can feel longer than an entire holiday. And sometimes one childhood memory can return in a single second with more force than a full annual report. Bergson called this inner time duration, or as he said, durée. It's time as we experience it from the inside. That is his first lesson for modern people. Not everything that is real fits into a measuring unit. We often live as if only the measurable truly counts. Rest must be productive. Walking must produce steps. Reading must become self-improvement. Even silence is expected to deliver some kind of benefit. Bergson would say, then you may have understood the outside of life, but not the inside. That is also why he made a distinction between analysis and intuition. Analysis is useful. You take something apart to understand it better. We analyze behavior, performance, relationships, problems, and sometimes even our own mood, as if we are malfunctioning devices. And honestly, analysis often helps. It gives structure. It gives distance. It gives me the deeply satisfying feeling that something has finally been put into the right folder. But Bergson's warning is this: analysis looks at life from the outside. It freezes movement so we can inspect it. Intuition for Bergson is different. It's not just a vague feeling, a lucky guess, or, the famous sentence, I just know. That is usually not philosophy. More often that's hunger, ego, or just poor sleep. Bergson's intuition means entering into something from within. You try to follow its movement instead of standing outside it with a clipboard. Take music, for example. You can study every note separately. You can measure the tempo and explain the structure, but you only hear the melody when you let the notes move through time. The same is true of people. You can list someone's habits, background, strengths, weaknesses, and even their annoying little rituals around the dishwasher. That's all useful information, no doubt, but it is not yet the person. To understand them, you need a kind of inner sympathy, a sense of how their past, fears, hopes, and character move together. That is what Bergson means by intuition. It is a deeper form of attention, not less intelligent than analysis, but less distant. So Bergson's second lesson is not stop analyzing. That would be silly. And honestly, rather bad advice before signing a mortgage. His lesson is, do not let analysis become your only way of knowing. And then comes his third idea: life is creative. Bergson believed that reality is open. The future is not completely fixed. Something genuinely new can appear. Life does not merely repeat what already exists. It brings new forms into being. That matters now because, many modern systems behave as if everything must be predictable. Algorithms predict behavior. Planning tools predict output. Profiles predict who you are. And before long, you may start seeing yourself that way too, as someone with a fixed pattern, a fixed character, a fixed manual. Bergson offers a gentle but powerful protest against that. You are not only what you have done so far, you are also what may still emerge. And this brings us to freedom. For Bergson, freedom is not simply choosing between coffee and tea. Real freedom happens when an action comes from your whole self, not from pressure, not from habit, not from what people like us are supposed to do, but from who you have deeply become. In a world full of stimuli, we often react faster than we live. We click, reply, buy, plan, scroll, and rush, as if speed is the same thing as freedom. But Bergson would say, freedom requires slowing down, not because slowness is holy, but because only in slowing down can you notice what is truly yours. So what can modern people learn from Bergson? You are not the same as your calendar. Time is not only something you can lose or save. A human being is more than data. Real change does not always begin where it can be measured. Sometimes you do not need to plan better. Sometimes you need to experience more deeply, because life is not a machine to be optimized. It is a flow in which you must stay awake.